week's topic is all about how we can create our master schedules for special education. So if you are in the classroom and you do not get your own master schedule and you kind of have to create it, here is how I've set them up in the past. So we all know creating a master schedule can seem like such a daunting task, especially in a self-contained special education classroom, as there's many students and teachers and different schedules, and we're also responsible for multiple subject areas across the day. So the big question is, how am I going to do it all in one day? So I'm going to give you some quick tips when it comes to creating your master schedule. So first, I always start with what content. A teacher first needs to know what content they will be, what content areas they will be teaching. So when your school year starts, ask your administration if you're responsible for all academic content or maybe just a few subjects. Maybe you're just ELA and social studies. Your school may have multiple teachers that kind of rotate through the content. So figure that out first. If you're like me, when I was in the classroom, you teach it all. From life skills and academics to grooming and self-care. Not to mention, we also work on vocational skills, independence, communication skills. Just thinking about creating your master schedule for all of those areas can make a teacher tired. So answer the following questions and write it down. So there's a little tip for you. What content areas will I need to teach? What schedule considerations do I need to have? Next, a teacher needs to look at the students' required classes and activities when they create their master schedule in special education. Consider when the students have, lunch, specials, related services. Many of those times are not flexible and need to be consistent every single day or throughout the week. It's at the same time. So once you have an idea of what the schedule has, you can plug those content areas in throughout the day. So again, putting that lunch in as a permanent time. So answer the following questions and write it down. When do my students have lunch each day? When do my students have specials or their electives? Do I have related service minutes? When are those? If you don't have those yet, that's fine. You can put it in your content, but know that student may miss part of that activity or all of that activity each week. All right, next we have to consider content. In my previous district, we had requirements for the amount of time that a student needs for reading and math instruction in the day. So make sure that you find out that information if each student's, for each student if they need to have a certain amount of time. Also, the additional services and replacement page in their IEP might have that information. So students could be required to receive 90 minutes of reading instruction daily and 45 minutes of math instruction daily. So legally, we needed to make sure that we did that throughout the day and those minutes are being met. So answer this following question and write it down. Again, this is just having you do this as I'm going along with it. How long am I required to teach reading? Math. How long am I supposed to go on a community trip? How long am I supposed to do life skills, science, cooking, vocational skills, any other content areas you're responsible for? Also, we need to consider lunches and breaks in the master schedule. Take some time to consider a reasonable lunch break for your assistants in the classroom, or one or more. I typically start lunchtime around 10:45 and end by 1 p.m. So paraprofessionals sometimes get a 25-minute to 30-minute lunch break and maybe 1 or 2 15-minute breaks. So make sure you space those out for all paraprofessionals in your room as much as possible. Aides might get 1 15-minute break before 10:30 and 1 15-minute break after their lunch, but at least an hour before the end of the school day. So again, just figuring all of that out. Work with your aides when setting up their lunch and breaks because you want them to feel included in the process as well. Previously, I've had an assistant that liked to call their family on the other side of the world, literally. So she needed a time to do that with the time difference. So I respected that, obviously, and let her choose an appropriate break to accommodate that. So it was, again, at a certain time. So answer the following questions and write it down now. What time would be reasonable to take lunch breaks for your staff? Is there a time that the lunchtime that my assistants maybe need to support? So do they have to support student lunch or student specials? When can my paraprofessional take their breaks? So again, looking at your schedule for all of those pockets of time. Teachers need to create a master schedule, but you also need to look for those pockets of time, those 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes even, Once you have all that information, you should be able to start plugging into academic and functional content into your schedule. This can also be flexible. We know that maybe by 2 p.m., your students might have difficulty focusing. So try to front load your day with as much academics as possible. Also, you need to consider the time increments that maybe you want your class to be. So I typically do maybe 15-minute increments so that bathroom breaks and hygiene times can be embedded. So it's maybe the last 15 minutes of class, we're going to take a bathroom break. So really kind of figure that out as you're figuring out your schedule. As always, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching today's video. If you're new here, make sure to click that like and subscribe button. It would mean so much to me. Click the bell to get notifications for when new videos get released or I go live. As always, leave a comment if you have any questions.